Hello guys, it's me again. Just wanted to touch bases. Going to be making some chicken and rice and some mixed vegetables, all in kind of a one pot skillet thing. It's going to be done in my Ninja Foodie, but you, if you don't have one, can do it either in your Instant Pot or you could go ahead and do it in a skillet. And I'm going to have to show you a shortcut based upon the fact that I forgot to thaw my chicken. You know, we've all been there, done that. So I'm going to be using my pressure cooker to help defrost and quicken the process of that chicken. And I will show you what I do with the chicken in the pot in just a moment. Okay, so I've got the chicken in here. Yeah, it's a brick of chicken. Great. What are we going to do with this? Well, I've got water in the pot down here. I'm going to season it here with a little bit of salt, kosher salt, black pepper, the Supreme Tradition salt-free seasoning, and garlic powder. I'm going to season a little bit of the meat, and also I will be seasoning the water that it cooks in. So after seasoning liberally kosher salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and the salt-free seasoning, I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on. I'm going to set my foodie here to pressure cook. Turn my vent to seal. It'll be on high, and I will set the time for, I'm going to do 10 minutes, and we'll set it. The reason I'm only doing it 10 minutes is for the fact that it's really, I'm only kind of defrosting and getting it to start to cook. I'm not cooking it this way. It will end up going into the pot with rice and cook during the process of the rice. And then I will be adding in the mixed vegetables towards the end of the rice process. And we'll come back to that later. Okay, so now that my chicken has been done par cooking or partially cooking, I'm going to release the pressure on my pressure cooker so that I can open my lid. Whether you microwaved your chicken to defrost it or actually put it into a skillet / pot to parboil and defrost your chicken, it's time to get the chicken out and ready to start putting the meal together. And here's what the chicken looks like. Also, you'll see that there has been an increase in the broth liquid that has accumulated. I will be reserving about a cup of that to add into my rice as a liquid instead of just all water. And you can also use the stock and save it for soups for future or anything else that you may need to season instead of buying store-bought chicken broth. We will now start preparing the rice as directed on the back of the box. I'm using 2 boxes, so everything on this box will be doubled from the butter and the liquid. Add the butter into your skillet, saute pan, Ninja, Instant Pot, whatever you're using to make this meal. Just don't use the microwave, that's all I ask. Try to stay away from the microwave, it really ruins everything. And as you can see, the butter is pretty much all melted. And now I will go ahead and just toss in the 2 boxes of the rice-a-roni. And it does not have to be chicken rice-a-roni. It could be whatever, the beef or broccoli and cheese, whichever one. Just using the box as the directions for the rice in this recipe. And the ease of the fact that if you had thawed chicken, it would just be, from here on out, would be the main menu. Or the main recipe. My bad. And just kind of give that a quick stir, get that butter on the rice, and wait for that vermicelli that's in the rice-a-roni to kind of start browning. Once it starts to do that, then we'll show the next step, and that will be to add the liquid, which I will have in my liquid. It calls for, with 2 boxes, is 5 cups of liquid, which I will be doing a 1.5 cups of the broth that I created when I made this chicken, and the rest of it will be just water. And in the end, I will be tossing in this bag of mixed vegetables. It was a 2-pound bag. It was all that Walmart had at the time. I'm not using all the vegetables. If you want more vegetables compared to rice ratio, that's fine. That's up to you. And you can also use broccoli or any of your choice that you would prefer instead of mixed vegetables, peas and carrots, peas separate, carrots. It's all up to you. And at this point, you can start to see where the vermicelli is actually starting to brown and turn golden. Not burnt, but golden. And that's when you just add the seasoning packet to the dry. Both of them out of the boxes, sorry, my bad. Again. And then you're going to just give that a quick little stir so it coats and kind of breaks up that bouillon seasoning into the rice. Because I've always found that when you add the water, the liquid, and then add the base, the powder, it just sticks at the top and never really separates. So this, it kind of gets a little ability to break it down and to coat all that rice and not be lumped as a big chunk. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my liquid. In my liquid, it is partial broth and water. I already gave those. And like I said, I already gave the measurements. I was doing 1.5 cups of the stock that came from making this chicken. And the rest was the liquid to equal 5 cups of liquid. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and just give this a little quick stir so nothing's sticking at the bottom. Gives that rice a little separation. And then I'm going to add my chicken, which I said it's either use thawed or you parboil, par-cook, whatever you guys want to use the words. I'm not a chef. Just kind of the way I cook at home. And it just goes straight directly into the pot with the rice so that it cooks with the rice and becomes a one-pot meal. It's just one of those things I like to share with those that don't like to do dishes, those that are cooking for not a large party. And then after this, I'm going to set this to I'm going to let this come to a boil. Then I'm going to set it down to a simmer for the directions state actually 20 minutes. And at that time, I will come back and I will check on it at probably 15 minutes because the frozen vegetables, they've been thawing out, so they're not going to really need that much time. They're just going to need to warm up. And at that time is when I will add the vegetables. And at that time, you can also use can in case you don't have the frozen vegetables. You forgot to buy those. You just had a can on hand. Just toss those at the bottom. All you're doing is warming the vegetables just to the temperature that's necessary. And this here is the leftover seasoned broth that I created by making the chicken that way. This way you can use this for pasta, soups, season it however you want for something else. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. It's just really simple that you don't have to just buy that canned stuff all the time that you don't even know how much salt's in it. This you can control so you can control your diet a little better. And it's a little bit more wholesome and healthy, and it's more flavorful because I do use chicken with skin and bones. So if that scares you all off, I apologize ahead of time. I don't really use chicken breasts. It's overrated, it's overpriced, and it's dried out, in my opinion. And I will be back to show you where I add the vegetables and I'm going to finish this up. I hope you enjoy so far. Leave any comments that you have down below. I will personally answer those. And any questions on processes, I will surely help you out through that. We'll see you soon. Alright, so after 15 minutes, I came back. I lifted the lid on my pressure cooker after sauteing it on a low medium. And you can see there is a little bit of liquid still in here. And that's totally fine, but you can also see that the rice, it's not mushy, it still separates fine. And this is the time where you add those vegetables. And yes, some of them are still frozen, some are partially frozen. It doesn't matter. They've already been parboiled before they were bagged. Canned ones, they've already been pretty much done anyway. This is, like I said, this is just warming things up, and you're mixing it and getting it down into the moisture and the heat. And then you will pretty much just put the lid back on for another, I would say, oh, let's just go, because the rice is pretty good, depending upon your rice. If it's still dry, sometimes that happens if you didn't have enough liquid. You might want to go a little bit longer, but I'm probably going to go with this a blanching aspect time of 4 minutes. And after that, I'm just going to set it and leave it alone. And you can either eat it right then, or you can wait till, keep it on warm with the lid on, and serve it when everybody else gets home. Well, I hope you enjoy this. I will show you the final product in just a few minutes. And that there's the final product of what it looks like. I know, it may not look wonderful or beautiful, but it's all about the flavoring. And again, I don't like to over season. I believe that anybody can add their own seasoning, so if they want a little bit more salt, go ahead. You don't like the skin, remove the skin. But it is what it is at the end of a meal, and the chicken's perfectly cooked, the vegetables are al dente, and my rice is not mushy. But to each his own. I only share techniques and simple ways to make meals at home. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you need any questions answered, again, leave them in the comment section. I do not have anybody that helps me through this. I do this all on my own. I'm trying to share this with my son, so in the case of my livelihood just ends one day, he'll know how to make a meal for his family in the future. And I hope this helps you all to make a meal for your family in the future. Thank you. Jewels creating jewels. That's all it is. They not be diamonds, but they are in the rough. And 2 quick tips. One, when you have the leftover broth, go ahead and let it cool, and you could put it in a to-go container. Or if you're not going to use it within I give it 2 days. You could probably stretch it to 3. I just kind of that way. I don't like to have a lot of leftovers much. But if you want to keep it longer than that, put it in some ice trays, freeze it, and then put it in some Ziploc baggies. And that way you can always have a little bit of liquid per ice cube, and you'll be able to equate how many cups that ends up melting down to eventually. Also, another quick note, do not lift the lid when you're making rice. It's just one of those things that the moisture goes out and it just does not work properly.